Hello, I'm Martin, and I do voiceover.
I'm Joe, and I make websites.
And we want to see if we can become business friends with business people in just 5 minutes. It could be the start of an amazing business relationship.
Or it could be a complete and utter waste of time.
Still, it's only 5 minutes.
Start the
Timer.
Hello there. Who are you?
Hello.
And what do you do?
I am actually what we call a vocal stunt performer, and I have a company called The Monster Factory. This is an audio service provider for video game and movie, and we specialize in monster, creature sound, and let's just say screaming.
Amazing. So, if I had to ask you to describe what you do in a sound...
Oh, in a sound...
Perfect.
I mean, we may as well end the podcast there.
We can't top that.
That's awesome. How did you get into that line of work?
Exactly what I was going to ask.
The thing is, I'm a metal vocalist by trade. I've started to sing in a metal band when I was 15 years old. If people listen to metal music nowadays, you can hear vocalists doing amazing sound, crazy sound. And for video game and movie, that's kind of a skill to have, especially in video game for creature and monster sound. So that was basically my training. And after I went into Tibetan throat singing, overtone singing, developed my voice further. And then in 2005, by accident, because a friend of mine started to work in Ubisoft Montreal, they asked me to do voices for the first game I did, Far Cry Instinct on Xbox.
Nice.
And that was the beginning of a... At the moment, it was a hobby, but now it's a career. I work full-time, but, back then I didn't know this could be a thing. Voicing monster and creature in video game, like...
That's awesome.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. What's the difference? What's the percentage the percentages of when you're doing monster voices, how much of it is sounds and how much of it is dialogue?
I would say 95% of what we do doesn't have any script line. Like, sometime we do have script line. Of course, like Orc, hello, boy, and Goblin up there. Alien sometime, but most alien are gibberish, made-up languages. I was lucky enough to voice some character in Star Wars Outlaws, so I had to learn some hutties for that. But the rest of the time, it's basically what we call grunt onos or emotes, and it's... how to properly voice an action, like idle, breathing, attacking, pain, death. So that consists of, 95% of what we have to do.
And you doing that sort of remotely or in a studio, or, are you being directed while you're doing it? How does it work?
Usually we do that in a professional recording studio. When because I have a few voice talent around the world, because sometimes monster do talk, or sometimes video game companies want to work with local talent. So I have people abroad. So we do a lot of remote recording session in the sense that we do have a studio in Montreal, and if our client is in China or Poland, when we send them the Zoom link and they can listen to the source directly through audio movers. So that's a part of what we do, but we do work with several recording studio around the world.
Nice.
So we have to move on to the question about the DVDs in the background.
That's intense.
I assume that is just a short selection that I can see on the screen. How many DVDs have you got?
Probably 3,000 something, a little over that. But what you don't see is on this side, I have a load of Blu-rays and also a few oldies but goldies.
Whoa.
Stuff like that. Because if you look above...
1 minute warning.
Oh, yes.
1 minute warning.
I have stuff like that.
It's very impressive. It's maybe slightly worrying for your budget, but there is part of me thinking someone needs to tell this guy about Netflix.
It's tax deductible.
Oh, yeah.
Research.
Of course it is.
Exactly. So this is why I have so many. On this side, I have CDs, which are also tax deductible. video game console, tax deductible. So this is how I got to amass over years, right? So this is not like 1 year in the making. This is like 15 years of collecting.
Yeah.
Do you prefer being in a video game or playing a video game?
Oh, being in a video game. I still play a bunch of video game nowadays just to listen to the sound of Monster and Creature and the Onos and Grunt. But the thing is, I'd rather be in a studio voicing Monster and Creature.
What's the best thing about Canada?
So many things.
What do you think?
Like,
Did we just spark a valuable new business relationship? Or should we have taken a coffee break instead?
Joe's good at that.
We'll be back soon to try to make more business friends. We're very lonely. Do you want to be our friend? Or maybe you could suggest someone we can chat to be friends with them. Drop us an email. friends@5mbf.co.uk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I love
Thank
that
you
your
very
favourite
much.
thing about Canada was that it's peaceful, given your job and your background.
Well, I mean, a lot of people think that, because one of the things, because I'm a vocal coach as well, I teach people, and especially in the voiceover industry, how to train for what we refer to as extreme voices, right? And so many people, when they hear the sound, they imagine like the amount of vocal stress that I'm like kind of vocally self-abusing myself, right? But the thing is, it's so relaxed and it's so peaceful. And you can imagine after a 3-hour recording session, I'm at peace with the world. Like all my inner rage was released, for people to enjoy in a video game. And I do believe, for real, that's one of the reasons where, when I was younger, when I started doing that, I didn't go into, like, let's say, drugs and different things, because I had a way to channel, that teen rage and that, and, 1 hour of screaming. And I was like, I don't have energy to think about bad stuff. Like, I can channel that. So
The soundproofing probably helps with that, though. Otherwise the neighbours start to get a bit worried.
The healing of screaming. Like babies do it, right? Young babies, they scream. They're born, we're all born with that capacity. No, but
Socially acceptable for them.
Exactly. Well, thank you for the invitation. Actually, when you asked me the question afterwards about Canada, I was going to say poutine. But then I was like... But that's not a Canadian dish. It's actually from Quebec. But Canada just took it,
Adopted
and now
it.
it's